If you work in sales, operations or customer service and are tired of constantly having to work through your emails every single morning, the admin associated with managing RFQs, customer complaints, or just updating system details, or maybe you live your life out of a report to Excel spreadsheet and are constantly firing them off to all the key stakeholders. I understand these pains, and I want you to give me 2 or 3 minutes for me to be able to get you to look at things in a completely different way that could make all of those problems go away, and what's most important is flip it into a strategic advantage. Imagine a world where you haven't got to do half of those things, 80% of those things, and our day-to-day admin and manual work is completely removed to allow you to spend the time adding value to your function, to the business, the way that you should. And if you're a leader in one of these businesses, an owner, a director, a CEO, then imagine what could happen if your people were 5-10 times more productive, not having to go through every single email every morning, or have to run all the reports themselves, or having to do all the manual PDF updates and forms they have to submit. Think about that for a second. But let me explain to you why I think this is important. And this is something that's truly blown my mind. Over the last 11-12 years, I've lived these pains. I've been in the trenches with you. I've worked in everything from sales, operations, all the way through to supply chain. And operationally understood every single bit and felt the pains of living in email inboxes, felt the pains of having to do repetitive tasks every single day, or sometimes a couple of times a day. It is a nightmare, and it almost feels like I'm banging my head against a brick wall, not being able to provide the value that I know I can. So it's got me thinking, why is it that it seems that all of the tools that we use every single day has moved on so much over the last 20 years, but the way of working hasn't? Now, you're probably going to say to me, yeah, but we've got a new software package, we've got a new CRM. That's fantastic, but that's a tool. I just want to think back 20 years. Maybe 20 years ago we had manual paper folders and filing cabinets. And now we've moved on 20 years and we've got cloud storage and Dropboxes for all of our data and shared drives. We've gone from writing manual letters to the typewriter, to email, to Zoom, to Slack. Communication tools have improved. But if you just think about it, all of our data and all of our intelligence is still split across the same non-connected, non-talking, non-integrated systems that requires us as a human beings to work amongst it all. And that seems to me like an awful lot of admin for something that should have progressed over the last 20 to 25 years. Just picture it. Most businesses are structured exactly the same. We've got some kind of core system, whether that's an ERP system where everything is saved on, or a project management system. We've normally got an email tool. For 90 to 95% of businesses, all of our customer communication is done through that email tool. So we might have a system, we might have Outlook, we might have a Zoom system or a Slack system, or even using WhatsApp to talk to customers. And then we've got our storage areas, whether that's physical folders in an office or online shared drives with everything shared in. And as you know, the bigger the company, the more the confusion, the different levels of tools, and nothing seems to all talk together, which is a huge opportunity to move forward how we function, but also a worry and a concern to constrain us as humans that we're only ever really looking for and finding information between these systems. Imagine a world where you didn't have to clear every email every morning. Imagine a world that you could just simply ask a question and get an answer without the need to go and ask 7 different people, or find out where it is in a shared drive or a folder, or rely on someone else updating something. And this is what I want to introduce you to. It's what I call adaptive smart operational systems. But it's really much more simple than that. It's building one brain that companies can use, that all their data is centralized around, and that brain can talk internally, but most important, externally, meaning the customers can be dealt with quotes very quickly, RFQs can be responded to, forms can be updated, and all the data is ready and available in one single source of truth. And why do I think this is important? Because the amount of admin work that we can save as human beings, the faster we can serve our customers, the more efficiently we can get things done, the more operational strategic advantage we can leverage as not only business leaders, but as a business serving a customer. And think about how differently, if you are a leader of a business, an owner, an MD, a director, how much of an impact on your business's performance it would be if we could save our employees and our organisation not only hours and hours of time a day in terms of admin work, but also improve our reactivity and understanding of what's going on day to day, to be able to serve customers as quickly as possible, to be able to respond to customer inquiries as quickly as possible, to remove problems and add value to them. We can now, with the systems, with the technology that exists today, create strategic advantage that will blow people out of the water that don't know how to understand and harness these systems. It's something I've become incredibly excited and, as you can tell, passionate about. And I've spent the last 3 to 4 years really digging into how these systems can work and create real change in organisations. Because in this world of the AI boom, it's really not just all about AI. You've probably tried typing an email with ChatGPT. You may have connected something or used an agent of some kind, or even use a fancy little bit of an AI tool that's been added into whatever current SaaS platform you're using. But this is almost like the surface level, slightly helpful stuff. That's just another tool. What I'm talking about is understanding your business from the core up. Your values, your principles, most importantly your processes, how you serve customers, and removing the lag, the bottlenecks, the fatigue of the day-to-day admin, and super speeding all of that to serve customers more effectively. Now, this is completely my belief, but the way I look at systems and the way Thrive looks at systems is all around 3 core beliefs. Customers would rather not have a problem. If they don't have to have one, they'd rather not have one. So it's our responsibility to look to eliminate problems ahead of time. Some of those things are near on impossible, or we think they're near on impossible because they require human intervention or customer services to type emails and answer questions. But that's not necessarily the case if we can build systems to prevent that. That's the first core belief. The second core belief, well, if the first core belief is customers would rather not have a problem, then my second core belief is that if they do have a problem, they want it solved as quickly as possible. Speed is of the utmost importance. And there's a complete newsflash here. It doesn't really matter how you solve it. It's the solving it that matters to them. So if they have a problem and 5 seconds later you can answer it and solve it, they would prefer that to perhaps having a phone call 7 hours later on the next working day to solve that problem. So that's just really important. And the third and the most important core belief is that the more we can understand our customers, what's truly important to them, what's truly important to buyers of businesses, or the key stakeholders that's receiving our services, what makes their day-to-days easier, what progresses their company further, the more we can understand how they function and what they value, the more we can build a measured service around that that makes us operationally different. Because we live in a world where there's more competition than ever, and competing on product alone, the thing that we deliver to our customers, is potentially no longer the only way we can compete. Now, what I don't want you to do is think that this could be a load of waffle. So let me give you some realistic examples of the type of systems that we can build. We can turn your email into a treasure trove of information. Every bit of your email communication is the lifeblood of your organisation. It's showing what customers are complaining about, what customers are repetitively asking for, the questions internally that we're asking, and all that information can be collated and put into a database that we can access. What we can do with that then is build preemptive systems that can update customers. We can build a system whereby we have all of our data that we can automatically quote customers. We can respond to customers instantly. If you are in an organisation where speed to lead is important, which is important for every single organisation, we can instantly acknowledge customers' RFQ requests. We can build a system that goes further than that and automatically quotes customers in the tens of thousands a day. It's infinitely scalable. We can update customers when they want to be updated in the way that they want to be updated automatically by connecting our email through to our database and our knowledge bases. So we have a system that talks like you, like your customer service team, like your sales team, that provides customers with a huge amount of value. We can build systems that answer your customer requests instantaneously. You might have a wealth of data around processes and how you do things. You might have spreadsheets with updates of information from multiple departments. We can consolidate that into what I like to call your company brain, where all of your data, all of your intelligence is logged into a brain that can answer customers automatically. And what this boils down to is removing hours of admin work off your team's plate every single day, so they can focus on doing more value-add activities. They can focus on building better relationships with customers or internally and moving processes forward, while smart adaptive systems can keep your customers more updated, engage them more effectively, convert greater opportunities across your sales funnel because we're responding faster, we're updating faster, and really drive value to a customer because we can serve them in a way that your competitors, if they're not aware of how we can integrate smart adaptive systems powered by various forms of AI, how your competitors could quite literally not compete. It would cost them in multiple heads, so many people, so many employees to manually do this and manually fix these problems. It takes you so far ahead strategically. I've genuinely seen these problems, lived these problems, and it's always blown my mind that the landscape is all the same. We all seem to operate in the same ways. We all have the same systems that teams have to drop and drip out of and update customers and type emails and ring each other on Zoom and answer these questions to find out where this folder is. Imagine having all that integrated and centralised. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. What is this YouTube channel all about? It's about building adaptive systems. And what are adaptive systems? These are systems that use the software you're currently using, the tools you're currently using, mixed with a little bit of AI and automation, and they're things that are built for you, around your business, to take work off of your plate, to make things faster, to provide more value to customers, to address the core beliefs in a way that would require you to employ 10s or 20s more people. Instead, we can do it instantly and in a way that's completely and utterly scalable 24/7. Because at this moment in current time, we've normalised the chaos in customer service. And it feels like that our good people, our good employees, our amazing people are buried in the systems and admin rather than creating value. Imagine a world in which your best employees are sat there looking how to solve problems and push your business forward and provide more value to customers than they are simply having to spend the first 4 hours of every single day responding to emails and moving information from one system or one folder or one person that they're waiting for a response to a customer or another internal stakeholder. Because if your best talent spends 80% of the day typing, you don't really have a people problem. You have a system problem that's using all these fancy new tools that are part of the problem. And the way I look at things is, we say we care about customers, but surely the most important thing is how we can improve our operational support to them to provide value to them, to truly care for them. That is the North Star. And most companies, due to profit constraints, technology constraints, and the mere fact they don't understand that this technology and these systems can benefit organisations in the way it can, simply aren't. They're looking at operating in the same way that the last 20 to 25 years has done. Tools have changed, but the system in which we operate, the way in which we serve customers, really hasn't. So this is just a brief video to introduce you to my channel. The channel's called Thrive. And what's most important for me here is showing you these systems. Now, I don't expect you to believe me. We live in a world of fads and fakes, and I understand that. So, I don't ask for you to believe me straight away. Instead, what I'd like you to do is follow, come along for the journey, subscribe to the channel, and the next couple of videos will not only show you this in working practice and how it can actually function, but it'll also give you the insights and the awareness of how it can change and implement it to your organisation to get the benefits we spoke about earlier.